This group is regarded as one of the best soul groups of the early 70s. During the period in time which they defined Philly soul with a lush, seductive sound. Surprisingly, the group's roots are in Detroit, where they formed in the mid-50s as a doo-wop act. With the famous legacy spanning over 6 decades, this vocal group is one of R&B's most recognizable and lasting groups, given that they never lost their global appeal. The centerpiece of today's story is all about the Spinners. Before we start, let's be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and push that notification bell to be sure you won't miss on any more uploads. Now without further ado, let's cue that intro. This story begins in 1954 in the Herman Gardner's house and projects with members Billy Henderson, Henry Fambrough, Purvis Jackson, D.P. Spencer, and James Edwards created the Domingos. Like many groups of that time, the group, they sang wherever they could to hone their skill and build chemistry. After about a month, Bobby Smith and George Dixon replaced Edwards and Spencer. Spencer went on to become a member of the Voice Masters and later the Originals. Producer Harvey Fuqua became very interested in the group in 1961 and signed them to his label Tri-Fi Records. He then renamed them the Detroit Spinners. The group released their first single, That's What Girls Are Made For,
To hold and to squeeze.
followed by Love, I'm So Glad I Found You. Following the release of their song, Chico Edwards, James' brother, replaced Dixon in 1963. Over the next few years, the group released a series of failed singles, and when Tri-Fi Records was bought out by Motown in the mid-60s, the Detroit Spinners became part of a much larger label with even more tremendous talent to overcome. In 1964, the group traveled to New York to open up for Marvin Gaye at the Apollo Theater in an effort to increase their exposure. The group gave a fantastic performance, which gave them the motivation that they needed to go back to the studio to record their first hit for Motown. And this song was I'll Always Love You. From 1966 to 1967, the group issued numerous singles, but there was only one single that charted, and it was the 1966 single Truly Yours. During this time, Motown was the hottest label, and if you didn't have a song that was in the top 10 of the pop charts, then basically it wasn't a hit. Upon signing to Motown, the label shortened their name to just the Spinners. The label appointed road managers, chaperones, chauffeurs, and shipping clerks to the group. In 1967, Chico Edwards was replaced by G.C. Cameron, and the group released a debut album titled The Original Spinners. The group's second album, titled Second Time Around, was released in 1970 and peaked at 199 on the Billboard 200 charts and number 46 on the Billboard Top R&B Album charts. This album had 2 charted singles with It's a Shame,
I'm sitting all alone by the telephone.
and Together We Can Make Such Sweet Music.
Such sweet music, together we can make it right.
After the group's second album, Aretha Franklin became aware of Motown underutilization of the group, and she advised them to complete their contract and leave. The group was due for another album, and Motown teamed them up with Stevie Wonder to create it. But due to the group's contract expiring, the album remained incomplete. Due to its overloaded roster, Motown never concentrated on the Spinners, so they let the group rock in 1972. However, Cameron couldn't leave the label due to contract reasons, so he asked his cousin Philippe Wynne to fill in. After signing with Atlantic Records, the group began to work closely with legendary producer Tom Bell. Bell developed the group's lush, seductive sound, complete with tight rhythm sections and a slight funk underpinning. Wynne quickly emerged as the group's first-rate soul singer, with a combination of the group harmonies was such a perfect pairing. Wynne's soaring leads and Bell's marvelous productions made the Spinners the most popular soul group of the 70s. This new sound of the group could be heard on songs such as I'll Be Around,
There's nowhere to go. Oh no, you
Could It Be I'm Falling in Love,
know.
and One of a Kind.
One of a kind, love affair is.
In 1973, the group released their first album under Atlantic, titled Spinners. This album peaked at number 14 on the Billboard 200 charts and number 1 on the Billboard Top R&B Albums charts, as well as selling over 500,000 copies, going certified gold. Following this album, the group released 5 albums in 3 years, all of which went certified gold. These albums included the 1974 album, Mighty Love, which peaked at number 16 on the Billboard 200 charts, New and Improved, that peaked at number 9 on the Billboard 200 charts and number 1 on the Billboard Top R&B Albums charts, Pick Up the Litter, that peaked at number 8 on the Billboard 200 charts and number 2 on the Billboard Top R&B Albums charts, and finally, Happiness Is, beginning with the Spinners, that peaked at number 23 on the Billboard 200 charts and number 5 on the Billboard Top R&B Albums charts. It was around this time that Wynne wanted to create the group Philippe Wynne and the Spinners. When this big transaction was not complete and due to internal disputes and egos, Wynne decided to quit the group and go solo in January of 1977, with John Edwards replaced him. Following Wynne's departure, neither party experienced much success. However, Wynne's tours with Parliament Funkadelic was all well received, as well as his solo concerts. Some notable hits that the group had was Ghetto Child,
Would run and hide, feeling so ashamed just for being born.
Mighty Love,
They grew older and left each other, 'cause that's the
I'm Coming Home,
I'm going home,
Then Came You,
Every time I'm near you, I get that urge.
Love Don't Love Nobody, Living a Little, Laughing a Little,
Right on.
Sadie,
Breakfast was on the table.
Games People Play,
When will I learn? Memories get in the
The Rubber Band Man,
hand me down the walking cane, hand me down my hat.
Working My Way Back to You,
You were so in love with me, I played around like.
and Cupid.
Now I don't mean to bother you, but I'm in distress. There's danger of me losing.
Throughout the group's career, they released a total of 21 albums, with 4 going gold and 1 going certified platinum. After the group's chart career ended, the Spinners continued to tour for decades. They are currently one of the biggest draws on the oldie circuit, playing the music that made them well famous. G.C. Cameron rejoined the group as lead vocalist from 2000 to 2002, replacing John Edwards, who left the group due to him suffering a stroke. In 2004, original member Billy Henderson was dismissed from the group after suing the group corporation and business manager to obtain financial records. He was shortly replaced by Harold Barnhart. Henderson sadly passed away due to complications of diabetes on February 2nd, 2007, at the age of 67. Another early member, C.P. Spencer, passed away from a heart attack on October 20th, 2004. Purvis Jackson, who was still touring with the group as a member, passed away from cancer on August 18th, 2008. The group continued for a short time as a quartet before Jesse Robert Peck was recruited to join the group in February of 2009. That same year, Bonhart left the Spinners and was replaced by vocalist Marvin Taylor. The group lost another member from their early days when Chico Edwards passed away on December 3rd, 2011. On February 7th, 2024, Henry Fambro, the last original member, sadly passed away of natural causes at the age of 85. On October 4th, 2015, the group was inducted into the National Rhythm and Blues Hall of Fame and the Vocal Group Hall of Fame in 1999. In 2017, the Spinners was inducted into the Michigan Rock and Roll Legends Hall of Fame. The group was announced as one of the final 15 nominees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. However, they didn't make the cut. They was also nominated in 2014 and 2015. But on May 3rd, 2023, after 3 failed previously nominations, the Spinners, with its classic lineup, was finally inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, nearly 70 years after the group first formed. The Spinners are certainly one of the most unappreciated groups in R&B history. Now before we go, let's take a moment to remember all of the Spinners' fallen members. Now, before we head out, I have a question for you all. What is your favorite song from the Spinners?